Welcome everybody to a look at a limited edition release from Indicator. It is a Blu-ray and this came out in 2020. So again, like previous reviews so far this year, not a new release, but it is a film I really enjoy and I feel like is deserving of being looked at. And it is 1981's Roadgames. So this is directed by Richard Franklin, who went on to do lots of Patrick, Link, FX2. But my absolute favourite film from him is Psycho 2, which I imagine this film helped getting the gig for that one, considering there are some similarities to the original director of the first film of Psycho. And yeah, this is a thriller clocking in at 101 minutes long. Stars Stacey Keach, who was in The Ninth Configuration, The New Centurions, and The Long Riders, as well as Jamie Lee Curtis, who's obviously most well known for her role in the Halloween series. But she was also great in the likes of Knives Out, True Lies, Blue Steel, A Fish Called Wanda, and the highly underrated Virus. So a truck driver plays a cat and mouse game with a mysterious serial killer in a van who lures young female hitchhiker victims on a desolate Australian highway. So this Hitchcock-inspired thriller is superb as it mixes the likes of Rear Window with certain elements from the film Duel that came out the prior decade to make for an engrossing and entertaining effort throughout, which, despite similarities to other films, is thankfully still its own thing. Stacey Keach and Jamie Lee Curtis are both great, though which the latter was used a little bit more. It is well paced, effectively shot. There's a really neat camera moment where Stacey Keach is driving behind this van in his truck, and it zooms in onto the right hand wing mirror of the killer, and it just looks like a kind of like a Jaws or a Rear Window kind of shot where it just like zooms right in, and it's just really well done and really builds up a bit of tension. The script neatly balances its main plot with humour and characterization. The score and general use of music are both superb. The vehicular action is well handled. That kind of element is not only feels a bit like Duel, but also somewhat feels like Mad Max. You know, it's also sort of set in Australia like those films are. The setting is well used, and despite the plot being about the murder of women, it isn't even slightly exploitative in either sexually or in terms of its violence. So, yeah, overall, a really superb effort. 4.5 out of 5 from me. And like I said, with its Hitchcock vibes to it, it's no surprise that he went on to do the sequel to Psycho. And yeah, everything was going against that sequel to that film, and yeah, Richard Franklin did a superb job at directing that film. So yeah, and this is a really neat box set. I'm not sure how many were made, as I've seemingly lost the J card that it came with, but yeah, really nice limited edition from Indicator. Comes with the disc as well as two versions of the poster as well. So we've got the more minimalist poster there, and then we've got the original on the reverse, which I'll get to in a second. So yeah, slight difference, but as you can see, it's got a bit more of a border on the original version. We also get a booklet with this release as well, with one shot from the film on the front with Jamie Lee Curtis, and then a behind the scenes shot with Richard Franklin, and as you can see, he's reading up about Psycho. So, you know, maybe he was being given the gig before this film was even finished for Psycho 2, or maybe he was just getting some Alfred Hitchcock vibes from reading up about it. So in the booklet, we've got cast and crew, then we've got Ease on Down the Road to Nowhere, Isolation and Paranoia in Roadgames by Lee Gambin from 2020, as that is when this limited edition was released. Then we've got an interview with Richard Franklin from 1980, an interview with Stacey Keach, also from 1980, and Jamie Lee Curtis and Stacey Keach on Roadgames, also from 1980. Then you got Richard Franklin on Alfred Hitchcock, also from 1980. Critical response at the time, and His Ghost May Be Heard. Up Jumped the Swagman by Mark Hartley from 2020, and Indicator credits as well. On top of all that, you got shots from behind the scenes. You've got shots from film. There's Stacey Keach up alongside his truck. And yeah, this along with the likes of the Mad Max films are one of the few that I've seen that have really got across the vibe of, you know, these big, vast landscapes and open highways in Australia. So yeah, it's a really good in terms of the booklet there. And then we get the poster. So we got the original poster on the one side, which is in portrait. So it's got the tagline there: the truck driver plays games, the hitchhiker plays games, and the killer is playing the deadliest game of all. And then we get a landscape poster on the reverse side, which is actually one of my favourite looking posters that I've ever had in a limited edition release. As you can see, I really like the look of that. It's really highly stylized. Kind of looks like something from the 50s, maybe like promoting an automobile at the time or something like that. But yeah, it does a really cool looking poster. I love the color scheme. And then you got the tagline: on a 1,600-mile stretch of desert highway, someone is playing a game of sex, violence, and sudden death. The thriller that travels far beyond your nightmares. So yeah, and obviously you have Stacey Keach and Jamie Lee Curtis there on in the promotional material as well. And then we have a whole bunch of extras on the disc itself. So it was at the time at least a brand new restoration by Powerhouse Films, who is what Indicator is owned by, from a new 4K scan of the internegative. Then you got the original mono audio, so it looks and sounds great. If they were ever going to revisit their back catalogue Indicator and look at films that they've done in the past that could very well get a 4K disc release, this would be one that I would love to have in that kind of format, to be honest. Then we got audio commentary director Richard Franklin and film historian Perry Martin from 2003. Audio commentary with cinematographer Vincent Monton, costume designer Aphrodite Kondos, production secretary Helen Watts, and filmmaker Mark Hartley. That's from 2019. Then you got audio commentary with writers and programmers Anna Bagaskaya and Olivia Howe from 2020. And then you got Kangaroo Hitchcock 2003. That's a 20-minute archival documentary on the making of Roadgames. Then you got Australian Long Haul from 2019. That's a 14-minute interview with actor Stacey Keach, who reflects on the role of Pat Quid and working in Australia. Then I got an archival interview with Richard Franklin from 1981 that cuts in at 26 minutes long. So the director discusses his early films and Roadgames. As the likes of Patrick came out before this, but Lincoln FX2 came out after, as well as obviously Psycho 2. So yeah, I've not seen many of his films before this one. Then we got audio interviews with Richard Franklin from 2001, clocking in at 23 minutes long. A Stacey Keach one from 2016, clocking at 10 minutes long. And then stunt co-coordinator Grant Page from 2016, clocking in at 33 minutes long. Then you got Not Quite Hollywood interview excerpts from 2008, clocking in at 64 minutes long. So that's outtakes from Hartley's acclaimed documentary on Australian cinema, featuring Franklin, Page, actors Keach and Jamie Lee Curtis, screenwriter Everett DeRoche, as well as assistant director Tom Burstall. Then you got Roadgames, a lecture from 1980. That's a 131-minute archival recording of Franklin, co-producer Barbie Taylor, and composer Brian May. Not that one. So yeah, that's quite a lengthy one. That's longer than the film by quite some margin. And then you got Trouble Bound from 2020. That's clocks in at 13 minutes long. That's an appreciation by film historian Neil Sinyard. Script Read even from 1980. That's a 117-minute audio recording of a pre-production read-through featuring Franklin Keach and Marion Edward. Then you got Music Demons. Misreading here. Music Demos. Nearly got it right. From 1980, that's a 5-minute excerpt from the Brian May score in demo form. And His Ghost May Be Heard from 1973. That's a 15-minute rare short film directed by Franklin, as well as the original theatrical trailer, image gallery, new and improved English subtitles, and it was limited to 5,000 copies, and it was a UK premiere on Blu-ray back in 2020. So whether or not you can find this limited edition anymore at all, I'm not sure. It is obviously sold out on Indicator's own website, but whether or not you can find it secondhand somewhere, I'm not sure. I can't remember how much I actually paid for it originally, but yeah, I imagine second-hand versions of this aren't going to be the cheapest, but still, it is well worth seeing if you haven't seen it. And obviously, if you do enjoy it enough, then buy it if you wish. Especially get this limited edition version because you do get that fantastic poster, interesting booklet, and a really rather nice hard box as well. So yeah, great film, really great release from Indicator, and yeah, it's one of the earliest ones I actually got from them back in the day. So yeah, it is one of my favourites that they've released, and also one of my favourite kinds of films in this kind of realm of thing. You know, road thrillers, I guess you could say. It's definitely one of my favourites of of that kind. So yeah, but if you have seen it, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. But nonetheless, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.